This is the most secure vault in the world. It is said to be the most difficult building to break into. Not even a mosquito can easily fly in. It is built 100 meters underground, and there is a huge balance scale directly below the vault. Even a mosquito landing on it will immediately cause an imbalance. Then the steel door of the vault will be immediately blocked. The water reservoir around the vault will be filled with water. The intruder will be drowned inside. But such a clever design was easily broken by a teenager. The boy's name is Sean. He was a genius engineering major at Cambridge University. Even before he graduated, he was being sought after by companies. The companies were offering higher and higher terms. Sean would agree to anything if he said yes. But Sean didn't care about reputation or profit. He wanted to pursue a higher challenge. On that night, Sean received an anonymous text message. It said, "This is your only chance in life." Driven by curiosity, he followed the text message to the bar. Then an old man with a white beard appeared. He wants Sean to help him break into the world's most secure underground vault and steal 3 expensive gold coins. It turns out that John is the owner of a salvage company. A few days ago, he found an old shipwreck in Spanish waters. After the team salvaged it, he found a chest containing 3 gold coins. This is no ordinary gold coin. The coins had coordinates pointing to a huge treasure buried in the 16th century. But before they could rejoice, they were surrounded by Spanish customs. Customs confiscated the 3 gold coins in the name of the state and locked up the gold coins in an underground vault. John was very reluctant, so he found Sean hope he can help himself to get back the gold coins. Hearing this, Sean was a little tempted because he likes challenges, so he agreed to John's request. The next day, Sean got on a plane and arrived in Spain. John introduced him to his team members. George is a computer whiz. Leo is an ex-marine. Lisa is a highly skilled thief. She has superb resilience. And Baldy Jack is the local know-it-all. There's nothing he can't buy. Once the crew is assembled, they discuss a plan of action. Since every space inside the bank is covered by cameras and sensors, so this mission was destined to be a difficult challenge. In order not to make any mistakes, they decided to find out the structure of the vault first. This task was left to Jack and Sean. However, to open the vault, they needed the security chief's fingerprints and 2 keys from the president. This task can only be done by Lisa. After everything is ready, they start the next step. This beauty is a beautiful thief. Her target is the underground vault in Spain, known as the most secure vault in the world. And to enter the vault, she needs the fingerprints of the head of security and 2 keys from 2 bankers. But how does she accomplish such a daunting task? First, she disguised herself as an art expert and managed to meet the head of security. And then, using the opportunity to shake hands with someone, handed the cup in her hand to the head of security. The head of security accepted the cup without suspicion. Thus, the security director's fingerprints were successfully obtained. The next step was the president's 2 keys. Lisa went to the office first. After the security guard left, she took out the equipment from her bag and started scanning the paintings. The head of security was already in the surveillance room. Lisa's every move was being watched intently. Upon seeing Lisa, George immediately hacked into the bank's surveillance system. Lisa's scanning movements were recorded, and then slow play to replace the bank's security footage. This will buy 3 minutes of time. Then Lisa hurriedly found the safe and started to crack it. Soon she was able to open the safe. Lisa immediately scanned the key with the device. George received the data and successfully reproduced an identical key through 3D printing. After all this, she put the key back to its original place, ready to use the same method to reproduce another key. On the other hand, Sean and Jack pretended to be cleaners and infiltrated the bank. They had to find a way to get the structure of the vault. Sean uses the moment of surveillance replacement to enter the conference room in the middle of the building. He took out the magnetic scan to scan the structure of the vault, but halfway through the scan, a group of people suddenly came in for a meeting. The employees sat down directly on both sides of the table. Sean under the table is very nervous, but at that moment, 2 papers just fell down. If someone bends down to pick them up, Sean will be found. He did not have time to think about directly increase the energy of the magnetometer to complete the scan, but this action triggered the alarm system. Instantly, all the sirens inside the bank sounded. The bank quickly entered the state of alert. Everyone was gathered in the first floor lobby. Lisa had just finished scanning the second key. She couldn't put the key back into the safe before the staff called her away. Lisa had to take the key and retreat first. Luckily, Sean was in the blind spot. Under John's direction, Lisa threw the key down the stairs. Sean caught the key securely. Then he quickly ran back upstairs and prepared to put the key back where it belonged. When they returned, they began to study the structure of the vault. However, the rest of the bank's structure was very clear, but there was one area that could not be identified. Everyone was very confused. Sean thought for a moment and then came to the conclusion. These blurred areas are water. They surrounded the vault with water. Whenever someone broke into the vault, the gates would open and release the water. But this vault was built over 70 years ago. There were no infrared or sensors in those days. How did they know there was a break-in? Sean quickly ran his genius brain. He soon found the answer. It turns out that there is a huge balance scale under the vault. As soon as the weight changed, the mechanism inside the vault would be triggered. No one could escape by going in. The principle was solved. But how to solve it? After 3 days and nights of research, he finally found a way. He took out a balance and put a glass of water on it. At this point, the meter was pointing at 600. Then Sean sprayed a large can of liquid nitrogen on the balance. When he put the water on it again, the balance did not change. Sean is really a genius. Now all the problems were solved. John decided to officially steal the gold coins tomorrow. This man aimed his hook gun at the roof of the bank. He then pulls the trigger. The hook just hooked on the iron frame. At this point, the 3 thieves loaded the top snap. They quickly slid towards the roof of the bank. After the 3 men had successfully arrived, Leo used a glass cutter to remove the glass from the roof of the building. Then they followed the rope directly into the inside of the bank. By this time, George had taken control of all the surveillance inside the bank. Under his guidance, the three of them soon came to a room. Then they opened the ventilation duct to the elevator shaft, and then used the elevator shaft to the entrance to the underground vault. But the scene in front of them blocked their footsteps. Fortunately, Leo was prepared. He put two folding ladders together. The ladders were extended and placed on the two sides of the roof. The men climbed through with great difficulty. They finally reached the vault door. Sean and Lisa took out the two keys they had made earlier. Leo put on the fingerprint film. The three of them successfully opened the door of the vault at the same time. Inside was the treasure chest they had salvaged. Seeing that the three of them had opened the door, Jack began to spray nitrogen on the scales. He sprayed a total of 20 cans. Soon the scales were frozen. The floor of the vault was also frosted. Sean tried to walk up slowly. The needle of the scale did not change, but the effect of nitrogen can only last a few minutes. Then the three people immediately began to act. They opened all the boxes and started looking for gold coins. Lisa soon found the gold coins, and the liquid nitrogen was slowly disappearing. The three of them were ready to leave the place, but at that moment Leo suddenly took out a pistol and asked Lisa to hand over the gold coins. Leo wanted to take the gold coins for himself. By now the liquid nitrogen had melted. The scales also began to restore the function. The alarm started to sound and the steel door of the vault closed automatically. They were trapped inside. At this time, the water holes around the vault began to pour a lot of water into it. Sean and Lisa were directly swept down by the water column. In less than 3 minutes the vault will be filled with water. At that moment Leo took off his jacket to reveal the diving suit prepared for a long time. Then he dived away with the gold coins, and Sean and Lisa had to wait for death inside. In desperation, Sean suddenly thought of something. He found that there was no sensor device here. So how did the machine know that the water inside was filled up? Sean quickly thought of the answer. It was the weight. So he asked Jack to put all the tanks of liquid nitrogen on the scales to increase the weight on the balance. Jack listened and put all the tanks of liquid nitrogen on it. Then he also sat on it. Sure enough, the gate quickly closed. By the time the security chief released the water and opened the door, Sean and Lisa have long disappeared. It turned out that the two had escaped through the ventilation duct 1 minute ago. They quickly rushed into the plaza among the fans. Then they changed into Spanish jerseys. On the other hand, Leo, who took the gold coins, knew that he had been tricked. It turns out that John had already found out that Leo had problems. He prepared fake gold coins in advance and let Lisa change them. Finally, George succeeded in deciphering the coordinates on the coins. They locked a bank in London. It seems that several people want to get the treasure is not an easy task.